Anya Prabhu Nitya Nanda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. We began yesterday with the theme of how we would like to use this very golden opportunity of the 50th year of Prabhupada's having started this glorious society to increase our awareness and appreciation for Prabhupada's great contribution to the world. And as fellow students of this ISKCON society, to become more and more aware about his glory and become more connected to his teachings, whereby it can help us to improve, to update, to evolve at a personal level, to upgrade and have a better quality of family life, and therefore, as a result of both of these, to also create a level of heightened Krishna consciousness within our communities of ISKCON. So this is the part of Sham Sundar Bhagavan ki jai. So this is the part of reciprocation. We have learnt enough, we have heard enough, we are now going to apply it. That's called as Sambandha and followed by Abhideya. So today we will discuss primarily in the time we have. We'll be discussing till 5:30 today. And then we'll be continuing in the Sunday feeds something else, we're just a little connected. So we'll talk about more about family and communities in the next 45 minutes. Okay? So, living with differences is a very common theme which needs to be discussed. Because whether it is family or a community, how to live with the differences which we have amongst ourselves is always a major challenge. You would agree? Yes. Right? Because it's the person usually has enough challenge taking care of his own mind and his own senses and his own false ego and his own psyche. And then you add upon that another partner who comes into your life from a different background. Sometimes in ISKCON we have cross-cultural marriages and different diverse South Indian and Bihari and sometimes even intercontinental marriages. So then all this becomes even more challenging. So then we have our differences, but how do we apply Prabhupada's teachings to live with that? And then we'll talk of a community where we'll have all diverse, even more diverse. We have Biharis and Telugu and Gujaratis like myself and all people, different people. So then, and yet we are fully, we have our faith in Prabhupada that when he says that he built a house in which the whole world can live. So it was not just a very poetic exclamation, but we believe and we understand that Prabhupada is the person who can actually create a Vaikuntha atmosphere in the material world also, provided we become genuine followers of his glorious teachings. Right? So we'll talk about family life for a while. And living differences is something which we all have experienced even so many times in life. Difference of opinion on so many things, right? So, when you talk of family life, we have talking about a very long bond. A bond which will last for Sham Sundar Bhagavan ki jai. For a long time. The wife was looking at the husband. She was cooking in the kitchen. And the husband was looking at some document. He said, and he kept looking at the document for 20 minutes. He said, what are you doing? What are you reading so carefully? I said, I'm reading our marriage certificate. So I see the manufacture date. I'm looking at the expiry date now. But I'm not finding for the last 20 minutes where is the expiry date in this. So we don't have expiry date, right? In our marriages, in Vedic marriages, there is no expiry date. Till you expire, there is no expiry date, right? So let's take for a while some common things. We will take a few minutes a rapid feedback from all of you. What are the common differences we have amongst ourselves in family life? What are the common debates, issues, conflicts? Which issues really create common problems in our relationship? Like what? Kids cannot answer this question, sorry. This is a little like an adult movie, you know. It's not for children. Huh? Misunderstanding on what topics? Misunderstanding is on what topics does it take place usually? On which school to go for the children to go to, which is the best school in terms of money and distance and this and that. Schooling. Parenting would be how to parent the child, to be strict, to be lenient, to be permissive, to be open, to be flexible, to be rigid, to be enforcing, to be disciplined, which is the mean path. So parenting could be another area of difference of opinion, diverse opinion. What else? Prashadam. Yes. If from different cultures, you know, South Indian and Bihari, if they marry, they will be prasadam. Work-life balance, schedules, balancing, what emphasis to give more, what to give less, and at that particular time, what is more important. So that creates conflict. Chanting creates conflict.
So time management.
That's time, right? Yeah. What services to render, right? How much? The in-laws are there, right? The line of authority to follow, right? Yeah, that's so much more in India, all the more, right? So I thought all of you are come here basically to get rid of that problem. I mean, Mahaprabhu came to this world for external and internal reasons. External reason was to have Nam Sankirtan. Internal reason was to experience love of God in his heart. So I understand after my little tour in America that people have come to here to earn money. That was the external reason. Internal reason is to get rid of their in-laws. Some of you will not agree, but I know it's true. Yeah. So in-laws, and how much respect, how much allow them to really, if I can use the word, interfere or into our lives. So that itself is an area of conflict. Yes, Yashodhara. Correct. So we have so many differences. Yes. Children. How many children to have? I didn't. Yeah. Children, and then, maybe sex life itself, could be a very debatable thing. What is the expected norm, and what is the standard, and where are we at? How do we reach the expected goal in this? So there could be so many things which could be there. How much money to earn, how much is enough, correct, and how much is not enough. Who will tell?
Difference in opinion and from where to squeeze the toothpaste.
Where to toothpaste?
Middle or end.
So it could be something as simple as that, some small things, right? So these are some major things we are talking about, differences which can take place. And we'll sort of keep that in one side of the basket, okay, for the first time being now. And we'll go to the other understanding now. We'll go to the other side, a little more pleasanter side. So, do we agree on anything or not? Agree to disagree is one thing. Do we really have agreements between partners on some issues, or is it always loggerheads? I hope we have some, that's why we're together. So what do we agree on? Krishna consciousness means at least we agree that Krishna is supreme authority of Godhead, or somebody is doing Ganesh Puja at home and somebody is doing Sai Baba, somebody is doing something else. No, we all know that Radha Shamsundar, Radha Gopinath, Radha Madhava are the lords of all lords. Krishnastu, that we all accept that part very clearly. What else do we accept? Agreement? Huh? Prasadam.
Prashadam.
There could be debates on what to eat, but it is prasadam. Nobody is here into eating non-prasad food items. Correct? Prasadam is total agreement, completely. Right?
Everybody reads Bhagavad Gita or
Gita,
Bible, Quran.
we all accept Gita, Bhagavad as the primary scriptures of our life. We accept Prabhupada as being our savior and founder Acharya, and there's no debate on that he is the person, the Yuga Purush of this, who changed the world.
Chanting is Yuga Dharma.
Chanting of Hare Krishna mantra, of course, there's no debates on that. Nobody is chanting some other mantras. So we have agreements on these issues of chanting. We all want to be service to Vaishnavas, service to the mission of Prabhupada. We all accept that's our goal, right? Bhagata Seva Parama Siddhi Premalati Karamula, right? So serving the Vaishnavas is our life, right? So these are some vital things. Now, for a minute, what we'll do is we'll sort of close our eyes, but we'll make a scale in our mind, okay? And we'll weigh the disagreements on one pan of the scale, and we'll put the agreements on other pan of the scale, okay? So just do it for 2 seconds and see which scale in your life seems to be more heavier. Do it. Just feel the weight of these two things. Okay? That should be enough to wait. Let's to go to sleep on the subject. What happened? So, which was seeming heavier? Prabhu? Agreements. Yashodhala Prabhu, agreements. Nima Sundar Prabhu, agreements. 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 You also. She's saying also agreement. Okay. Yes. Huh? Equal? It was equal? Okay.
Somebody said the scale broke.
Somebody in Atlanta said the scale broke. It was too heavy. The scale was not designed for that. It just broke. Somebody said equal in other places also. Somebody really said that the disagreements look like heavier, right? And that's going to be honest, expression of what they're going through life. But the way we want to see it is like this. Even if they're both equal, or even if the disagreements are heavier, if the scale is heavier, I would say, if you have 1 kilo bar of gold on one pan, and you have 1 kilo of potatoes on other pan, right? They both will weigh the same. But which has more value? Right? Obviously, it's a stupid question. 1 kilo of gold is costing millions of dollars, and 1 kilo of potatoes will cost 20 rupees in India. Correct? So even if the disagreements and agreements are the same, what is the value of the agreements? That Krishna is God. How many people really know this? Right? How many people in the world really know this? Even the Hindus don't know this. What talk of the Buddhists and the Christians, and they would not know it at all. But in the so-called Hindus, they say Krishna, pantheism, you don't know what it is. So to know that Krishna is God, to accept these vital things which are full of substance. Each of these things are full of substance. How much substance is there in our disagreement and how much substance is there in our agreement? The agreements are far more substantial. They're like gold. Right? The word guru, when he said the word guru, Prabhupada is our guru, when we accept that together, husband and wife, that agreement itself, when the guru is like heavy, so that one agreement itself is like boom, the scale sort of just tips to one side, because Prabhupada is on that scale, guru is on that scale, so it just tips to one side. Okay? And yet, is it not surprising that even though agreements are there which are like gold, and the disagreements are as stupid as a kilo of onions or potatoes or garlic or palak, whatever. And yet there is serious, right? But of course, before we go into that, since most of you said that there is agreement, I'd like you to make a half a minute exercise. For those of you who accepted that the agreements were heavier in your life than disagreements, this deserves a prayer of gratitude and thanks to Krishna. It deserves. If we have in our life these two things which I consider most important, if we have a bona fide guru in our life and we have a partner on which we accept these major things, we agreement on these things, if you have these two assets, a bona fide guru in your life, which is very, very rare to get, Brahmanda Brahmita Kono Bhagyavan Jeev, we know the shloka. And if you have a partner among millions of girls you could have married or millions of boys you could have married, potentially, you got a partner who agree on the most profound realities of existence in the world, the profound truths of life. And there is deep, deep, deep agreement on this. If we have these two things, are we not the most blessed people on earth? And if we are, at least it deserves a 15 or 20 second, 30 second, half a minute of prayer to Radha Shama Sundar that we have this. We may not have recognized this sometimes, willingly, but we need to do that maybe now, in just half a minute. Offer your own personal prayer of gratitude if you think you have these two powerful assets in your life. Thank you and Hare Krishna. And please don't just remember this prayer, but also remember the experience of offering this heart of gratitude. And when we do this, we will not take this cheap. We will not take this for granted, because this is the greatest blessing we have in our life. And nothing is greater than this. Now let us see if the mind, which is the product of Kali Yuga, where insignificant things become significant and significant things can become very insignificant. That's the power of the mind. We know that Krishna saying in the Gita that it can make hell into heaven and heaven into hell, right? So in one sense we have gold with us, and yet even though we have gold in our home and we fight over potatoes, right? I mean, literally take the potatoes and we throw it at each other, right? So the mind is doing that. Now when we go into that mindset, because of the power of the illusory energy, we go into serious conflicts on our disagreements. What really happens? What are the side effects? What is the downside of all the conflicts? What really happens? Or rather, what can potentially happen, or what really sometimes happens? What can happen? A time is wasted. As simple as that. In one sense, the valuable time which you would have spent in something constructive is wasted in what they call as Mana Leela, right? First the fight, then the area of no communication, that curfew zone, right? What happens when fight? What happens then usually there's silence in the house. It's uncomfortable silence. It's not a peaceful silence. It's an uncomfortable silence that lasts for a few minutes, hours. I've seen people have this silence for years sometimes. They went into serious conflicts and they never even get into a communication channel except just essentials. You had your food? Yes. Are you hungry? No. What time will you come in the evening? 9:30. Finished. That's it. This went on for years together. That was the communication they were at, right? After some counseling, they improved, right? So then that can happen. Time is wasted. What else can happen? Stress. So much of mental stress, which affects every part of our life. This stress is so powerful. This stress is not just a normal stress of catching a train or the stress of a traffic jam. It's also stress. Or a bad boss. It's also stress. But this stress of a disturbed family life can affect any and every part of your life. Is it not true? Your physical health, your office job, your chanting, your services, your social life, your entire existence can get completely scarred if something at home is going very, very bad. Right? So yes, stress. Stress causes distress. Beta, you have a problem? You can't. Are you married? No, in India we have child marriage, so that you are one of those. He said, you can't concentrate on anything, right? Very true. Thank you for the answer. Yeah, we can't concentrate on anything. What else can happen? Aparadhs can happen. Devikanandan Prabhu. Exactly, because you have bad preaching. A bad preaching example takes place in the community. People get affected. People get very, very traumatized. Oh, how bad and how sad that my fellow devotee is having such a difficult problem. And it demoralizes the people around, and it affects the whole atmosphere with negativity and pain and suffering and anxiety. Right? And on the other hand, a happy example could be just doing the reverse, right? It can be filling everyone's joy with, what a nice couple, and see how they are doing, nice service they are doing, and how united they are, and how loving, how caring they are, and how affectionate they are, and how they're serving Krishna together. See how wonderful. It will have a complete opposite effect, right? And if things go bad, there can be physical abuse. Now, it is not uncommon in our society. We cannot say in front of deities, but there are things which happen which are sometimes very, 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 very horrible. There could be physical abuse, and beating, and bad mouthing. And terrible things happen. And sometimes we wonder, is this the same tongue which we use to chant Hare Krishna mantra and chant nice songs of the Lord, glorifying Krishna? And the same tongue is now becomes a storehouse of foul language. All the filth of millions of lifetimes, the tamaguna and all that, like a septic tank opens up. It oozes out so much of foulness and ugliness comes out. And if it is going further, it goes into a breakage. It just goes into a breakage and can't be repaired, right? So we talked about the differences, we talked about the agreements, and what are the potential side effects of this, and how seriously we have to really at least use this philosophy. We were talking yesterday with Prabhu, right? That we are talking about having a relationship with God, with the Supreme Godhead, Krishna, who's like in one sense very, very far away. Yes, he's in our heart, but yet he's very far away. But if we do not learn the simple art of uniting in harmony with our partners in life, then that prospect of going harmonizing with Krishna is absolutely only theoretical at best. We will never achieve that goal, no matter how many rounds we chant and how many jumps we make in Harinam Kirtan. We can't reach Krishna. We cannot have the simple, soft, gentle heart to, align ourselves with our partners who are in flesh and blood living with us. And somebody who's up there in Vaikuntha planets, and how can we have a relationship with that person? It sounds so distant and so remote and so utopian practically, right? So Vishakhapriya will take us into the further part of the discussion, how to make things really work in family life.
We have this Grihastha committee in Bombay. We are a group of 7 couples, and one of the senior most people in the devotees in our committee is His Grace Rishabhanu Prabhu. Some of you might know him. And he tells a very beautiful story. He tells the pastime of a very, very rich billionaire who had an only daughter. He wanted her to get married. Every father wants the daughter to get married. So he just announced that whichever young men candidates are there who want to marry my daughter, please come tomorrow to my mansion on the pool side and we'll make a choice who should get married. So, rich person, beautiful girl, only child, who will not come? A lot of candidates came, they were all around the pool, dot on time, and the father came and he said, so, here is my daughter, and one more thing, whoever wins the hand of my daughter gets not only my daughter, but half my property. Additional thing. And he said, there is one condition which you have to fulfill, that you have to swim from that end of the swimming pool to this end of the swimming pool. Whoever comes out first will get the hand of my daughter. So who doesn't know swimming nowadays? Or everybody was 1, 2, 3, ready to jump. He said, but there's only one issue. Okay, the swimming pool is full of poisonous snakes and scorpions. So 2 steps ahead, 10 steps backward. If we are alive, we'll get married. No, who wants to take the risk? Forget it, Nobody was coming forward. And the father was thinking like Janak Maharaj must have thought, okay, will my daughter remain unmarried? And while he's thinking like that, in the hush-hush of people, suddenly there was a big splash. And one young man into the water and was swimming, and he came out from the other side. And the father was so relieved that, okay, somebody took the risk and he did it. So he patted the young man and said, congratulations, here is my daughter and here is half the property. So the boy looked at the father and said, that's all right, but first tell me who pushed me in. Who pushed me into the swimming pool, So Rishabhanu Prabhu tells us that who pushed us into this Grihastha ashram? Who pushed us? Women had no choice. Men could have become brahmacharis, but you all didn't become brahmacharis. Women didn't have a choice. We got married. But the point he wanted to make is that it is a voluntary decision that we decided to get married. And we say marriages are made in heaven. Means what? The hall is up, the caterers are from demigods. Not like that, right? What it means is that although there are hundreds of more beautiful girls in the world, there are 10,000 more beautiful men in the world. But for me, this was the perfect person. That's what it means when we say marriages are made in heaven. That out of the millions of choices that we had, this particular partner was the best for my journey of going back to Krishna's lotus feet. That's what we mean by saying marriages are made in heaven. So if we have made a conscious choice of getting married, then on whom does the onus come to make the marriage work? If the girl runs away with the boy, then what do the parents say? If you do marriage according to what we say, then we take the onus of the marriage. But if you run away and do, it's your problem. Don't come back. You have to manage it out, right? So we have made the choice and we want to take the onus that whatever it takes for my marriage to work, I am ready to go that extra mile. Isn't it? I am ready to go that extra mile. Usually we expect the change from the opposite person. We say that, if, no problem, if I get married, after marriage, I'll change the opposite person. We always say that, I'll change the opposite person. But does it happen like that? Because Gandhiji said that let us become the change that we want to see in what we want to see in others. So we have to make that change. So many people, you just take a thing that Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, 4 types of people come to Krishna consciousness. The seekers. Now how many of us were seekers? We went to Himalayas and caves and all that. Did we go to search for a guru or for Krishna? No. Somehow guru came searching for us. It was like that, So we didn't go searching. Some people are, jnanis. They were, neti process and then they got. So many different reasons by which come. But the majority of people come out of distress. That we are distressed. And distress is mainly what distress? Distress in relationships. Right? Our Chandramouli Maharaj was saying, the 2 rarest things in this world is what? Organic food and congenial relationships with each other. 2 most rare things. Giriraj Maharaj. Okay, Giriraj Maharaj said, sorry, I made a mistake. Giriraj Maharaj said like this, that organic food and good relationships, if not with the partner, with a friend, if not with a friend, with a neighbor, if not with a neighbor, with a boss, somewhere we have had broken relationships. Do we agree? With somebody, we have had that experience. But majority of the times, the pain is the most when it happens at home. With anybody else, you can face it because your partner is there to support you. While Sita and Ram were together, they could face all the demons who came. But once Sita got separated from Ram, then the actual painful situation of Ramayana was more. Because going to the forest was no issue. Both of them were together. 14 years, 13 years went very joyfully. It was not a curse at all. But that 1 year when she was kidnapped So when they were separated physically, that was the most painful period that they went through. So if we have relationship problems with anybody, we can face it. But when it is with our own partner, the pain that we go through is unimaginable. We know, every one of us knows somebody or the other who has gone through a divorce, which is the last stage of the relationship. But what is the pain that that person goes through? We have some experience. We don't have to go through it to ourselves. Like we say, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Dukhalayam Ashashvatam, this world is. But we don't have to prove that to each other. That I'm going to prove it, that this world is Dukhalayam, so that you have the, Tivra desire to practice Tivrena Bhakti Yogena and go back to Godhead in this lifetime. We don't have to do that. So here we are talking about that all of us have had some differences. We don't want to discuss it with other people because it's a very personal thing. But within our hearts, we all know where we have differed, where we have gone wrong, what mistakes we have made, what we should have done, what we should not have done. And this imaginary weighing scale, which we just made right now, unfortunately, in all of our minds, there is what? A convex lens. Magnifying glass is there, unseen magnifying glass, which makes disagreements look very big and agreements look very small. There is enlarged Xerox and reduced Xerox. You know that? There's an original copy. If you want, you can make an enlarged Xerox of it. And if you want, we can make a reduced Xerox of it. So our mind usually makes enlarged Xerox of trivials. That is why the proverb is what? Let trivials be trivials. We don't want to have focus on the disagreement of from where should we press the toothpaste. Whether you press it from the middle or from the front or from behind, the paste is going to come out and the work is going to be done. But sometimes we get so irritated with these small things. Wet towel is on the table, on the bed. Wet towel has been kept on the bed. That could be see, most of the Mathajis are smiling, Wet towel on the bed. Some fan is on and light is on and drawers are not shut and so many small things which land up irritating us due to conditioned nature, and that becomes such a big thing in our mind that it becomes very, very intolerable. It goes towards irritability, intolerance. So it's okay, but let it not reach that stage that our differences overpower our agreements, what we agree on. And what happens? The focus gets defocused. We forget that why did we get married? What was the purpose of our marriage? Some of us got married in the temple and we had the Haribol day. The day in which the Vaishnavas were made us stand up, that today Krishna Das is going to get married to Radha Dasi, So they seek the blessings of all the Vaishnava community. Everybody stand up and say Haribol. And everybody says Haribol and, give their blessings through that Haribol to the couple. And what happens? It was such an exhilarating experience. Even if it's not in the temple, suppose a boy and girl meet on the beach, still exhilarating experience. Now, wow, you look forward to it. When will I get married? Right? When will that day come fast and we want to come together soon and we want to get married? Then whatever happened after some time is the same person. It's the same person. Then what happened to us? Because we became defocused. We started giving more importance to our differences than our agreements. But Prabhupada always said, that how do you tackle differences and fights in married life? Do not take it seriously. We don't have to take it seriously, We'd like to give you 3 examples for that. If it is summertime, I don't know about the climates in US, I'm talking of India. In summertime, the sky is clear, there is white clouds and, very nice environment. And suppose there is thundering, loud thundering. When there's thundering, we don't take out our raincoats and umbrellas, Because it's just thundering, we don't take it seriously. It's not going to rain, right? Same way in Grihastha life, if there is fighting and we take it seriously, then what happens? There is rain. Lot of rain is there, And there is lightning in the heart and the heart breaks. So we should not take it seriously. Second example given is about in India, we have seen in villages, we have goats. And goats, they come together and sometimes they lock their horns. And they have get into such a severe fight as if they're going to mortally, brutally wound each other. And they go like this, and they go like this, and back and forth, back and forth. And if some stander-by comes and is hut, 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 then this goat goes over that side and that goat as if nothing had ever happened only. And they don't even turn back and look at each other. Because it was nothing major, It was just a circumstantial thing. They just went away on two sides. Now what a big thing in that is. What a big thing is there in that. And the third example given is of two lawyers. If two lawyers have taken up the case of their different clients, in front of the judge, they are fighting tooth and nail. My client didn't do this, and the other one says, no, your client did this, and they're having a big argument, and section this of law, and section that of law says this, and this is the witness, and this is the proof, and all that. And after the case is resolved, either side, it could be one lawyer has to lose and one lawyer has to win. Then only the case is resolved, right? So when the court is adjourned, both the lawyers will come together hand in hand and say, come on, yaar, let's go for a cup of tea. Good fight we had, So how does it concern us? It was their problem which we were trying to sort out. It was circumstantial. So we being Grihasthas, so many things affect our decisions. Sometimes the climate. It's too hot or it's too cold, so our mind becomes hot, You all don't experience in India, heat. You come home from office in the heat and already you are boiling, and if something the partner says the boiler blasts. There is Hare Krishna explosion over there. So heat affects us. Sometimes what affects us? Financial crunch is there. So you don't mean it, but due to that, somebody wants this and the other one wants that. Simple, That affects us. Sometimes simple exams of the kids affect us. Sometimes it's just that we are hungry. Yeah, we are not chanted our rounds. Too many rounds are remaining. And you really don't know. When we got married, sometimes Prabhuji would come home and he would get angry, So then my mother-in-law told me that he must be hungry, He doesn't mean it. Or he must have got ulcers in his mouth. That is why. So it's nothing against you. Then I started understanding that why. If he's upset, then I'll ask him, are you hungry? Or you have got ulcers in your mouth? Which of the two is there? So it's all circumstantial. What I mean to say is that it's not really meaningful because partners usually love each other. Isn't it true? It should be true. Sometimes we hesitate to tell our partner, I'm supposed to say I love only Krishna or I love only Guru. If I tell my wife or my husband I love you, it's Maya. It's Maya, I may get attached. Then what will happen, We can, misapplication of philosophy in whichever we want. They say there's a shlok for every folk. It's like that, So we can justify all our actions through whatever way we want. So we will have so many differences. But if we understand, like what Prabhupada said, that in Grihastha life, we should not take them seriously. And sometimes analogies help us to remember this better. So you can maybe try to remember the lawyer, the thundering in summer, and the goat. Next time, when it happens, you try to remember this. And we will give you a mantra. Some of you are initiated, okay? And your Guru Maharajas have given you Maha Mantra. So that is Maha Mantra for spiritual life. But there are some Maha Mantras for family life. If we are able to apply them, then what happens? We can get our goal of happy married life. We get. So the best, does anybody want to make a guess? What is, it's a 2-worded mantra. Ours is a 16-syllable mantra. But which is the mantra to resolve our differences? Tolerate, forgive. I am sorry. Yes. Our wise Prabhu here said it. Let go. Very simple thing, right? Sometimes when we say this, people blow it up, print out and put it in the most prominent place in their house where usually the fights take place. Bedroom, wardrobe, kitchen cabinet. Let go, let go, let go. Because what choice we have to, Is it really worth it to go through all the trauma which we go through emotionally and the pain that we give each other but while that situation is going on, just for the sake of sticking on to try to prove that I was right. And sometimes we know that by doing that, what happens? We win the battle, but we lose the war. We win the battle. Momentarily you proved yourself that I was right. See? But you lose the war. What is the war? A happy relationship. We want to have a happy relationship. So Bhaktivedanta Purna Maharaj told us that we always say 70% of marriages in the world end up in divorce in the first 3 years. We've heard that? 70%. But he made a more alarming statement. He said, but wherever does it say that the rest of the 30% are happily married? Does it say that? Somehow, because of our Indian culture, sometimes we stick it out together. What will society say? What will my kids feel? What will my parents say? What will this happen? What will that happen? Many factors, So, but we are not happy. So, latest concept in ISKCON is what? Happy devotees, but miserable grihasthas. As devotees, we are very happy, We're going to temple, practicing Krishna consciousness nicely, maybe leading a Bhakti Vriksha group also. Everything we are doing nicely. But at home, situation is hellish. The husband came home early one day and his wife said, why did you come home early? I said, my boss told me to go to hell. So I have come home early. So it's hell at home. So we have that choice whether we want to make our house Vrindavan or Kurukshetra. Both are dhams. Both are dhams, no doubt about it. But whether we want to live in Kurukshetra or we want to live in Vrindavan, that is the choice which we need to make. And unless we have good motivations, sometimes to get over it and to resolve this, we will never be able to. It's not that by saying sorry, sometimes one partner takes the lead. Usually there is a difference of opinion in that also, that who will take the lead. When there's a difference, you feel it's her mistake, she should say sorry. And she feels, why always me? He should also say sorry sometimes. Last 3 times I said it, so at least once he should say it. And that curfew can go on for a long time. And why we are scared of saying sorry? Because the moment you say sorry, we feel, see, it was your fault, so you said sorry. What's the big thing? So sometimes you tell people, they say, no, we don't want to say sorry. The whole thing comes on us. So we got a very beautiful message which we had read, that when somebody says sorry, it doesn't mean that that person was wrong, but it means that that person cares for the relationship. It means that he or she cares. So in fact, the competition should be that who will say sorry first. Right? But what prevents that competition? EGO. EGO. There is a concept called male ego. Is there something called female ego? Though we don't say it, it's not an oftenly used word, but there is. Yeah. But we are saying it. We are admitting it. It's there. So this is where the whole challenge comes. The topic which we have taken is for his sake. I mean, we have very less time available right now. So we are just trying to conclude it. Actually, this is like a 2-3 hour seminar only in living with differences. But we just want to bring it to focus that maybe we have tried everything to work out amongst ourselves. We tried counseling from people, we went to marriage counselors, and our parents tried to explain to us, and we had hours of discussion, but we just couldn't resolve our differences. So maybe for this 50th year of Prabhupada's anniversary, can we have a higher motivation? That can we do it for his sake? Yesterday we talked about personal growth in life. So how we can come about that for his sake? We can try to improve. So can we also try to bring our relationship to a little higher level for his sake? Right? So just in short, we wanted to cover this in family. We're supposed to end now, right?
Yeah, I think we'll end. But before we end, just one thing which is beautiful sentence from Prabhupada's book, which is there, which can be a very, we were talking with Prabhu yesterday about how do we judge our own progress in Krishna consciousness. Is there a way of measuring that? And there's a statement in Prabhupada's books, in the Krishna book, he talks about how to judge your own greatness. Would you like to learn this statement? It's a very nice statement, right? So before we end this, because it will apply in every walk of our life, in social life, Krishna conscious life, family life, community life, etc. He said, Prabhupada says that the greatness of a man is to be judged by how he can tolerate provoking situations. This is Prabhupada's very practical barometer he has given of how to judge our actual greatness. So in our family life, there will be a lot of things which will happen which will provoke us. You get excited, get agitated, and you lambaste, you start speaking all that thing we should not speak or do, right? But if one is really great is a true practitioner of Krishna consciousness, is actually a Vaishnava at heart, not Vaishnava in Tilak and Kanti, but Vaishnava at heart, then he would have imbibed a wonderful quality called as tolerance, right? We discussed this, we'll finish in 2 minutes now, 2 minutes, yeah. There are 3 modes of material nature, right? 3 modes, Tamagun, Rajagun and Satagun. So, family life in Tamagun, the symptom would be apathy, abuse and insensitivity. This is typically if somebody's family life is in the lowest rung of consciousness, it will be predominant by apathy, insensitivity and emotional or physical abuse, right? And if you are on the level of Rajagun, it will be sense gratification and heightened expectations from each other. Very high expectations and sense gratification. That will be predominantly how a Rajaguni marriage will work, right? And if it's truly a Vaishnava Sataguni marriage, it will be based on seva and sacrifice. That means each partner is trying to serve the other physically, emotionally, spiritually, be a good friend, and willing to make sacrifices for each other. So if that is what it is, now for that to come to Sataguna, we'll have to practice a quality called as tolerance. And I would like you to end this by repeating this statement of Prabhupada and then using this statement as your own individual barometer of are we making progress in Krishna consciousness in our relationships. Can we repeat this together? The greatness of a man is to be judged by how he can tolerate provoking situations. Right? So there will be things will provoke us from the surrounding, from our mind, etc. But we will tolerate that because, as she said, we genuinely care. We genuinely love our partners. Right? So when you love, and then it will be seen as how you can tolerate it. And even if there is a conflict, we are willing to say sorry. We're willing to make all that thing which requires to repair the little damage which was done. Give your own signals of affection to your partner. Maybe a sorry, maybe a small touch, and maybe a gesture, right? And somehow see that our parents told us that if you have a conflict, do not sleep in the night before you have it resolved. That's been an age-old traditional advice given through generations, and whoever has done this has been spared from trauma, unbelievable trauma, because fights will take place. It will take place no matter what we do, right? Disagreements will take place. But when it goes to a fight, if it goes to a fight which you should not go, but if it did go, then please do not allow it to, when a fruit is kept outside in the fridge, in the open, in the summer season, what will happen? It will ferment. Any food kept outside and product, it will start fermenting. Any relationship not attended to will decay and ferment. Attend to it immediately. Do something about it, right? Do not allow your false ego to say, forget it, I don't care. No matter what happens, I'm not going to do anything about it. Chhod do, forget it. We say na khadde mein gaya, like that. Mind will stay all nonsense things, right? So mind becomes a stupid thing at that time, a stupid instrument of Maya, right? But do something, and before the next day, Brahma Murta comes in, and you got up with you get up like this, peace. So yes, we are good. We have peace. We're not going to carry forward any of the previous things. Okay. So these are a few small tips and small sharing of what we have learned over the years.
We'll continue with this in the Sunday feast.
Yeah.
For the family
we'll continue
and
some
community.
things.
We'll just continue the same thing because of lack of time.
All right.
Thank you.
Prabhu. Aarti.
We are not getting the time.
We are squeezed for time. That was a very important exercise, but I don't know.
Maybe if at the end of the Sunday program, if there is time, we could do it.
We have to go to
We'll
only
think
6:30.
about it.
6:30 is the break time, right?
Yeah. We'll see, Prabhu. We can do it. It's okay.
Thank you very much for being here. Hare Krishna.